Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody that's still rocking with us tonight as we progress throughout the show. We've been having a dope show tonight with our featured guest of the night, our brother Jaye Toller. And, of course, in the last segment, we had our brother Nate Jones. Listen, P, you wanted to jump back in here and close out with our brother Jaye? What you got?
No, don't do that. I mean, even though we're live and it's all...
It is live. What you got for me?
Yes, no, because I know that this really was Marcus J's interview because he was really excited and he wanted to have you in studio. Not saying that I don't like you and I don't want to have
So you weren't excited?
Yeah, I mean, did you let me clean
Do I
it
need
up?
to show view? I'm about to say show the listeners your text messages like they can.
Yes,
like they
you know
can
what?
see it.
And that's fine because I know living in the world of how we do screenshotting.
I'm so
things,
Takara.
That's fine. So that's fine because I'm gonna give you my spew right now. That's fine, Takara. Yeah, just go ahead. I don't care. So, what I was saying, no, we don't have to finish his interview up right now. I just felt like that we needed to close it properly. That's all.
Your text message said super excited. SUPA. Super. That's the Chitlin Circuit spelling of super.
Anyway, so what I really wanted to say, because again, I know you're going to stick with us until we're ready for you to leave. Again, I just wanted to thank our featured legend guest. That guy, Mr. JT himself. Okay, so let me brag on you really quick. So, shut up. So,
love it.
Before the show, I, made a comment saying how I had 3 people who really, really looked out for me when I first started comedy. And those 3 people were Corey Marshall.
Shout out Corey.
Jay Grizzy.
Shout out Jay Grizzy.
And this guy here.
Shout out myself.
And when I tell you, yes, it's very hard to be, of course, as we already know, in any type of industry, whatever, for a female, it's hard. But taking out the other 2 guys, I love y'all. But for this guy who's here, he always gave me the good and the bad. And I can remember one time that he gave me a really, really good, that really, really touched me, was my cousin, Jody, shout out JMM.
Shout out JMM.
She was doing a showcase for herself, and Jai, being the friend that he is, he came to support, and I was the host for that show that night for her. The next day, Jai, and I hope just for radio's sake that you will say you remember this, even if you don't. He sent me the most touching message ever. Basically, and I will brag on myself because he said this.
I absolutely remember, but go ahead.
He, part of it was basically that he appreciated me as far as knowing how to entertain the crowd, how I knew how to capture a crowd. Of course, I need to work on some things. He didn't really put that in there, but he told me face to face. But still, just the compliment that he gave me. Of course, we all know that nobody has to give any type of compliment to anybody. But he took the time out to say that. I think I appreciate him. And I just thank you because you will forever be my mentor. No matter how long we go without talking, I always lurk. So everything, like I know about all your podcasts. Like I could name you 1 through 25 right now. It would be really creepy, so I won't do it.
It's 42 podcasts.
Hey, look,
it's 42 episodes off the pad, but it's all good.
The half that I've memorized, okay, within the last 15 minutes. But anyway, I appreciate you for who you are. I thank you. I so thank you for the person that you are, first of all. And then for your comedy craft. And again, all of the compliments and the non-compliments, but out of love that you've given me. So to have you here at Legacy Internet Radio, once again, because I made the mistake of saying this is your first time, but it wasn't. I sisterly love Real Talk. Hey, Michelle, I love you. I honestly do. And again, I appreciate everything about you.
My goodness.
I really, really do. So, because, and you're a black brother, and you bring love, and also to piggyback on what Takara said, you could give it to him clean. So you for the family too. So again, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for coming here to Legacy Internet Radio. And I hope that Stop it. Wipe
Take your
nose.
flowers, brother. Take your
yes,
flowers.
seriously, because you honestly deserve it. And like I said, I hope this will not be the last time. And it better not be, because again, Google Maps, there's some things, brother. As soon as you type in your last name, they be like, yo, this brother live on this street, so I got you. So again, thank you.
Oh my goodness!
Stop
You're
it.
gonna. I'm serious. Like you. So tonight, I think I'm gonna sleep like listening.
You're whack.
Listening to Tavon's voice in my head, but feeling your sentiments. Like my goodness,
So creepy.
this is such a touching night.
Just a tad.
There's a double entendre there. Like
I appreciate you. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I love you, Lissa P.
Thank you.
And it absolutely warms my heart to hear those words.
Yes.
I don't even know what to say, but
Nothing.
I love our relationship, and man, you're such an encouragement to me. Like and I don't recall the exact words of what I told you in that message, but I know that I would have said, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
is that your existence, what you do inspires me so much. And that's why I'm comfortable with talking to you and telling you what I like or don't like.
Right.
You give me the real in the inverse. You tell me what's up
Right.
when I come to you. So it's dope that we have that kind of relationship.
Yes.
I tell you all the time, when you did my sister's event, we're going back down memory lane. I'll be brief.
Take it.
But I absolutely asked you to do my sister's event with me on purpose because of who you are, because of the talent that I see in you, and it wasn't even like I was at the top of my game. We did it together, both still coming up.
Yes.
and I think we did it well. We didn't have script.
Nope.
We did it just because of our relationship and bouncing off each other. I'll never forget that.
Me neither. The energy was awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I tell you all the time, if I'm ever doing something that you can be a part of, like you're my go-to. There's no knock on any other female comic anywhere, but I've probably known Lissa P longer than I've known any other female comic, and you definitely have my heart first.
Oh, that's so awesome. He's going to make me carry his bags later, but that's okay. He won't say it now on air. He won't say it on air, but that's cool. But I need for you right now, before we get into Donald Trump ass, I need for you to brag on yourself.
Name?
Yes, Trump ass. So I need for you to brag on yourself just a little bit more. I need for you to give any type of contact that people can get in touch with you, anything you have coming up. I know, and I wanted to touch on really quick an event you had this past weekend, right? With Scars. We actually had the representative or the founder here Tuesday at Legacy Internet Radio with Enlivenment Radio.
Sonia Holt. Shout her out.
And so again, I want you to brag on yourself, not like you don't do that enough, but give them everything about you besides your social.
Okay. Please friend me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. My name is the same on all three platforms. It's Jaye Toller. It's JayeToler. That's also my website, www.jayetoller.com. It's just
awesome
Jaye
website.
Toller everywhere.
Awesome
so,
website.
Check me out. Friend me. Follow me. What's on Instagram? Instagram is follow. Twitter.
You follow.
Whatever. I hate social media, but follow me on all those platforms. That'd be awesome. The podcast I have to do with my brother Corey. It's called Off the Pad. I'll repeat that. You can just go to offthepadpodcast.com, or you can just Google Off the Pad. It's a free podcast for now. Winky face. And it's clean, so you can listen to it in front of your kids or at church or at work. Awesome. We do get adulty. I said that earlier, so but you can listen to it in front of everybody. There's a couple episodes you can listen to help your kids through some stuff with the adulty. You don't grab them by whatever Donald Trump said. You grab them by the vagina. That is the adulty word.
Or neither. I was all up in my phone, but then I heard the Aint part, so I had a.
Yeah, no, you can't use that.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't say grab them by nothing.
Yeah, you can.
Grab them by the nipples.
No. No.
Not even-
That's unacceptable.
Yeah, grab why?
Well, we talk about nipples and vagina on maybe a couple episodes of Off the Pad is the point that I was getting towards. It's just not vulgar or sexually degrading. We don't talk about grabbing nipples.
Awesome. That's great.
We
Unless
talk
you're
about enjoying
piercing
them.
Okay, that too.
Is this getting too grown? I don't know.
Yes. It's getting a little
Yeah,
R.
let's rub it back in.
Cool.
I'll help you.
So that's
Here we
awesome.
go.
So
Jaya told her, check me out. I appreciate you. Thank you all for listening and
Yeah.
watching live.
you're awesome. Thank you. And Jai is still going to be in the building, so you will still hear his commentary on the comedic side of things here at Legacy Internet Radio. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Call us 804-402-2893. Again, 804-402-2893. The game is on Monday Night Football. What is that? The New York Jets and the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, 0-0, 10:52 in the first.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. Cousin Terry said, "Oh my God, is he about to cry?" and then,
I was.
And then she said, "Let's repeat for president."
Hey, yo, write my name on the ballot. Real
Yeah,
talk.
we
I'm
wait.
pushing the button as soon as I get in the White House.
We might need
Sorry.
we might need to write you in, considering the choices between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, which is a kind of a perfect segue into this next piece of the segment. We were talking a lot during the breaks about Donald Trump, some of the things that he has said, and the things that Hillary Clinton has not said in response to Donald Trump and other. I kind of let it off by saying Trump versus Clinton versus other. And I personally went on record a few months ago saying that it was very likely that I was going to be not voting for either of those two, that I was going to cast my vote for Gary Johnson. And a lot of folks took me to task for that. And, you know, that's fine and well that folks disagree with that decision. And we certainly can deal with that as we kind of progress through this segment. But what I want to kind of open up here is, you know, the choices that we have. And I mean, if you choose to endorse someone that is running, Trump or Clinton, in this segment here, by all means do so. If not, what I really want to kind of do is talk about the contrast between the two of them and the fact that I believe, and this is just my opinion, it's one man's opinion,
Speak on it,
that
brother.
if there was ever a time that we had a viable third party candidate, that now would be the time, because Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have got to be probably the two most polarizing candidates that we've ever seen pitted against each other, where, you know, when Barack Obama was running against Mitt Romney, I don't know that people hated anybody. I just think they had strong opinions, one versus the other.
Right.
When Barack Obama ran against John McCain, it was kind of the same thing. When George Bush ran against John Kerry, it was kind of the same thing. When George Bush ran against Al Gore, it was kind of the same. When Bill Clinton ran against who he was running, I'm forgetting his opponents. At this time, you guys get the point that I'm making. Now is, I hate Hillary, so I'm voting for Donald. I hate Donald, so I'm voting for Hillary. You know, I have asked the Donald Trump people why y'all love this dude so much, and I'm getting a combination of because I hate Hillary and because he's gonna, you know, he says it how it is, or he's blunt. And so I want to kind of talk about this. There's a lot that's on the table. Jai, I want you to jump in here and kind of give me what your thoughts are on this subject.
Yeah, I don't know that, and I hate to directly disagree, but I don't know that we have viable third-party candidates. There are third-party candidates that are on the ballot. I wouldn't call them viable myself. I don't like what I've seen and heard from Donald Trump's politics. I don't like what I've seen and heard from Hillary Clinton's politics. But I absolutely am disgusted by what I've seen from Jill Stein and hang on, don't help me out. I know it. Gary Johnson. Yeah. Right. I knew Gary Johnson before I heard of Jill Stein, but for some reason I just had a brain poopy face. But I don't think they belong in the president's seat, either Gary or Jill.
Why?
They don't seem to know enough.
You know,
Every interview that I've seen from either one of them when it comes to, out of the, well, what do you think about American education? Like, they can answer those questions, but I can answer some of those questions. I'm
Right.
nobody. But when it comes to foreign affairs
Right.
and security for this nation on a global scale, when it comes to environmental improvement on a global scale, they come up short. They can talk about the good stuff for America in America, and that's cool. But when you're the president, you are the leader of
the country.
everywhere. Like, obviously, you're not leading everywhere, but
Right.
but your position it requires you to be well versed in every on a global scale. I don't know a better word to put that.
But you know what? I really don't know where I've been, but I have not seen Jill Stein one time. Like, I have not seen her in anything. Like, I haven't heard her speak. I haven't seen her appear on anything. Like, I've watched MSNBC. I've looked at the Huffington Post, Richmond Times Dispatch, CNN. I've never seen her speak. Like, I saw a picture of her when I was looking at the polls, but where is she? Where is she out from? Like, where she
I
Google
saw
it.
her
Right.
when they were doing the second debate. She did tune in, but it was on a Facebook live. She tuned in, and I think she was answering questions. But I mean, I was so engaged in watching the TV, so I really could. I mean, it was too much going on, so I didn't watch her, nor did I go back to.
Yeah, I
watch
can't
what she
say
was
that I've
saying.
ever seen her.
Yeah, and then I mean, I've seen her at the morning show on Sunday.
I haven't
News,
seen her on
ABC
anything, but
News.
again, going back to Marcus J, when you were naming all of the presidents and who they've run against in the past, I think it all boils down to even what I observed when they had their second debate from the handshake. Everybody noticed they didn't shake hands. So again, you have when we were talking before the show started about, how many people actually support Trump. If you even look at his rallies, I don't care how many are lurkers, they're usually packed. And you have people who are actually thinking in this mindset of hurting people or thinking that it may be a rigged election. So again, you have people on open TV stating that, they'll have to turn to a patriot to take Hillary Clinton out. And, when one reporter asked, are you making a threat? The guy was like, take it any way you want to. So I feel like, it goes from even down to the handshake. Everybody's visual, they see that these people can't even shake hands. When you see in every other debate, no matter how much somebody went against the other candidate, it was always a handshake at the beginning and the end. So I think it comes down to minute things like that,
That wasn't enough for me. Like, I was so happy before the.
But you wanted her to hit him.
No, not even hit him. Like, I wanted her to flip him the finger. I wanted him
to
to come out with the middle finger. Like, that's what I wanted Hillary to come out with. Like, that's what I was hoping for. Like, before I'm watching it with my wife. We're sitting at home, and I'm like, she better not shake his hand. They better not shake hands. And sure enough, that came up. But in my mind, I was like, yo, she better flip him the bird. Like, that's what I want to. That would make me want to proactively vote for her. I'll say that I'm voting for her. I'll go ahead and say that. We don't have to get into that, but I'll say that I'm voting for her. But whatever.
Okay.
I'm not pro-Hillary.
Right.
I'm voting for her, but I'm not pro-Hillary.
I agree.
But if she flipped him the bird, I would have been pro-Hillary just
the
because
way.
of that gesture.
Right.
All the way.
But I
All
don't
the
agree with half the stuff she talks about.
Yeah, me neither.
We getting a hit from our sister Sonia. She's saying peace to you, Jai. So
Sonia, what's up, young lady?
She's saying peace to you. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial, be a part of tonight's discussion. Here's my deal with them. A large part of the reason why I said that I was likely going to be voting for Gary Johnson was a referendum against Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, both of whom I'm not fans of
Sure.
and have never been fans of. You know, I've watched them work. I've seen what they've done. You know, I've seen Donald Trump since I was, you know, a teenager back home in New Jersey. He was always on the news back then. So I always kind of knew who he was. In interest of full disclosure, I did enjoy The Apprentice show. You know, I did get a kick out of him firing folks. But it wasn't because I liked him. I just thought the concept of the show was entertaining. But I also remember saying about a year ago that Donald Trump was the smartest man in America, and I took a lot of heat. People thought I was crazy. And the reason why I said it was he turned the presidential election into reality TV. And every single time he does something dumb, he turns it around and he makes it seem like the other party did something dumb. So he can say Hillary stinks and Bill Clinton's a crook and blah, 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 blah. Or they could say something bad about him. And the next thing you know, they're going back and forth. He started it. He almost reminds me of the kid that'll run up to somebody, punch them, and then step back and watch the fight happen. You know what I mean? And so this is what he does. And he's also made it okay for you to be mean and for you to be nasty. Kind of similar to what you were saying, First Lady, when you were talking a few minutes ago. Like, people are okay with the meanness and the nastiness. I saw a T-shirt that a woman was wearing, and it said, you know, something along the lines of, he can grab me by the, and it was an arrow pointed down to her, down.
Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and now the new phrase that folks are using is F your feelings. Like, there are people who are wearing those T-shirts because Donald Trump can say whatever he wants. And it's just, it's unfortunate to me that every single time he's asked a policy question, he turns it around and nobody questions him. The fact that he's saying and doing a whole lot of dumb stuff, but he's blaming how he's being treated on the media, and people are falling for that. That's what really frustrates me about him.
Okay, and I hate to just jump in and
No,
speak first,
please,
but
that's what we're doing.
Here's what I want to say. I don't, and this may sound real bad for our country, and I'm sorry about what I'm about to say, but I wouldn't call him the smartest dude. I'd say a whole lot of Americans are stupid, and I put it that way just because he's a master manipulator.
Yes.
But doesn't that make him smart, though?
No, it exposes all of us for not catching on. You caught on, and you know what he's doing. So to you, from my perspective, you're an elite. You're educated. You're the smart brother who's catching on to what he's doing. But there's so many of us who get caught up by it, who wear those T-shirts with the arrow down, grab me by the. Those people aren't as educated. So I call most of us, a lot of his supporters, not being smart. I wouldn't go as far as calling him smart, and I say that. And that makes me think of when people say like Adolf Hitler was an incredible leader, and then people get flack for saying that. Oh, he was a crazy, but he was a crazy leader. To me, there's no denying. You see what he did,
Right.
and he didn't do anything himself. He didn't go and do that. He started a nation of people to go and do the stuff that. So was he an incredible leader, or were people just vulnerable?
Right.
To follow the next man. It could have been someone else. But people were just so eager to follow something.
Right.
People are so out of tune with information that they're being captivated by what Donald Trump is saying.
Yes,
Right.
I totally agree. I totally agree, because I was saying the same thing, even with all of the people in the rallies. Again, this is somebody who's saying whatever they want to say and basically getting away with it. Like, they've knocked so many other people out of the ranks. Now they're almost may possibly be the commander in chief. You know, so you got a lot of people, and I think that they're highly educated. There's a lot of those people at those rallies that's probably got more degrees than we could paper up in here, Legacy Internet Radio. But again, because they're being programmed almost like the slave man mentality.
I got money, but
He's able to, you can see he's able to say what he wants to say and get away with it. So people admire that. So, right, he's a leader. He's a leader for them. He's almost like a Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Just like, again, forming his community, forming the people with the white stuff over their head.
I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Right.
But I do think that it takes a certain level of intellect to be able to realize that the people are vulnerable enough to whatever your antics are, because we've had other candidates that have come along that could have done this, and none of them did. And if they could, then they would. And he did it. And it just, he got, his poll numbers, depending on what polls you look at, he's got probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 35% of the electorate that's going to vote for him.
Right.
Now, that ain't enough to get him elected.
Right.
He's not going to win.
Sure.
But we still talk about 30% of the people who are drinking that Kool-Aid. And it's tainted. It's tainted Kool-Aid because it's going to make us all sick, sicker than we already are. Because if he does win, just think about the potential implosion that you may have. Just look around the country. Let's say Donald Trump wins. He's basically offended every single voting bloc that you can imagine. He's offended black folk. And, you know, I got white folk that come at me that tell me that he hasn't. I'm like, I'm glad you know how black people feel, Mr. White Man. Thank you. Thank you for telling me about my feelings again. He's offended homosexuals. He's offended Muslims. He's offended Mexicans. You know, he's offended everybody. Now, let's say he wins. You got all of those groups that are pissed off. But you know who else is pissed off? A lot of rich white folk that typically vote Republican that will not support Donald Trump. And you've got a whole country full of people that are polarized. Now, on the flip side, those same people, well, not those same people, but different demographics have the same issue with Hillary Clinton. Because you have so many people, like me. I'll give you an example with me. I don't like her because I don't trust her. I've never trusted her.
Sure.
I've never found her to be a trustworthy person. The email thing, you know, I'm not moved by it, but the email thing does tell you one thing that kind of validates those of us who just don't find her genuine, because it's very clear that she speaks one way in private and in another way in public. Now, we know politicians do that.
Sure.
But to have it written out like that in black and white, I don't know that we've ever seen that before. Has anybody ever seen that before? And when she's standing on the podium and someone's insulting her and she's standing there grinning at them, that's just weird. It's just weird to me. I just don't find her to be a trustworthy person. And, and I know that you already said you're supporting her, and that's fine. That's fine.
Because I'm voting for her.
I mean, that's support, though. That's support.
Sure. Okay.
That's support.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, we have to decide what it is that we can live with. Can we live with him or can we live with her? I mean, you know, we know Gary Johnson and Jill Stein ain't going to win. So for anybody who's deciding, myself included, if I do continue along that path, which was what I said that I would do, and I reserve the right to change my mind. But anybody who is going down the path of Jill Scott, I wish I could vote for Jill Scott.
Let's get her in the office. Like, dude,
Jill Stein,
we'll change the game.
Jill Stein. Or Gary Johnson or others. If you decide to go down that path, the reality is you are really throwing your vote away. You just are. There's something to be said for voting your conscience. And if your conscience would not allow you to vote for Clinton or Trump, then, hey, I got you.
I agree with you.
I agree with you. I got you. Because I'm one of them people that thinks that way. But just know that you basically will go in the neutral pile. And you get a lot of people who will say, if you vote for Gary Johnson, that's a vote for Donald Trump. But you got to assume that I support Hillary Clinton for you to say that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to assume that I view her as the lesser of two evils for you to say that my vote for Gary Johnson goes to Hillary Clinton.
Go ahead,
goes to Donald Trump, I mean.
Well, I think it's important that we keep, this is a lesson for myself personally. I didn't know, I mean, I knew that there were people said that there were other presidential candidates, and this is my first year really keeping up with politics and what's going on and being aware and conscious and all that. I think it's a lesson, you know, speaking about the future, that there are more parties than just two of the ones that we primarily see on TV. When you say you want to vote for Marcus, you wanted to vote for Gary Johnson. I don't think there was anything necessarily wrong with that, but like you said, you're essentially putting your vote in an area where it may not really count towards someone winning that you would want to win. And I look at it as playing a game of chess. I know it's sad to compare the presidential state right now to a game, but
it is.
I mean,
like Connect Four right now.
Yes.
But if you're playing pieces, you want to make the best move so that you can win. And after you win, you always have that opportunity to make revisions or
Right.
do it, like learn what you did wrong and perfect that for the next time you play that game, right?
Right.
And I'm saying that if I believe the vote, I'm not even sure because I have been looking at the other other two presidential candidates.
okay.
But like you said, like in my mind, I'm thinking, well, it's better to vote for Hillary because she's more likely to win, I believe. And though I may not agree with all of her standpoints and her character on being trustworthy or not, I mean, as people or as human beings, I think that we all struggle with ways to express ourselves. And Hillary has had a very long career. The the person that she was X amount of years ago when she first started is not the same person she is today. I do believe that she has evolved as a human being, as a politician, as a woman, and I do believe that she is for the people. I believe that if she is elected, a lot of grassroots organizations who may not necessarily support her all the way, they will help the public, help our nation get to where we want to be. But she is on the slow train to progression, whereas the other potential candidate, like the next strongest, I hate to say that he's strong, but
it burns your tongue when you say it, don't it?
The next weakest link.
Like all my teeth like just fell out. But it's almost, if she is not on that train, if we don't get on her train, we're going to be left behind. Obama worked really, really hard in office these past 8 years to get to where we are today. And if we could read about all the positive stuff that he's done while he's been in office, and I personally, as a proud American, I would hate to see that go away.
Wasted.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasted.
So I think it's important that Hillary, we do have our views on her, negative views, but it's important to keep in mind, I like to win. When I play, I will win.
Right.
So just to keep that in mind.
That's a good point. Let me get this comment in, then I'm going to address your point. Melinda says sometimes his manipulativeness hides his lack of intelligence. It can be a distraction for what he is hiding.
Absolutely.
About his true personality and or intent. That's a very good comment.
Absolutely.
I had been very, very strong in my endorsement of a third party, and it's largely because I'm so offended by Donald Trump and distrusting of Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
And that's just legitimately how I feel about it. But, I was listening to Joe Madison one day, and what basically he said was, if you like the Super Bowl, you like football, this is the analogy he made, and I'll try to recap as best as I can.
Got you.
You watch the Super Bowl, and let's say you got, the blue team playing the red team in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But you don't like the blue team, and you don't like the red team.
Yep.
You like the yellow team. So you're going to go and put your money on the yellow team, knowing that the yellow team isn't playing in the Super Bowl. So Vegas is going to take your money, but you a dummy for giving it to them. When if you're going to be part of the winning team, you have to pick, no matter how hard it is, from the blue team or the red team.
You're absolutely right. All doubt that I had when I came in here, you changed my mind. You're right.
Honestly, without really going too far into because I'll be honest with you, like I'm going to be wavering, and I probably won't decide until I'm literally standing there, because because I am that offended by her and offended by him and distrusting of her.
But she could take us further. Yes. As a nation, than he can. He won't take us anywhere.
That's a matter of opinion.
But that's with her knowledge alone.
I think, but right now you're directly, combating one to one other. When you say, she can do better than he, already that conversation excludes the other two.
Yes.
Candidates.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right, but think about how many people that you could run into today. I'm sure if you go out to the street, who's Jill Stein, who's Gary Johnson, I promise you,
They won't know.
They will not know.
Right.
So I think it would be speaking about Vegas. That is a gamble that you are almost. I hate to say you're almost sure to lose, and not even to say.
No, you will lose.
Not to be not to have faith, but because of history, what history has shown from third-party candidates, I don't know if anyone in history of a third-party candidate that has won.
Was the closest.
He did pretty good. And you can
Okay.
argue, there's some folks, left-leaning folks
Ross
that would argue.
Perot.
Yeah, what was that, 88? Was it 88? I think that was in 88.
Well, I
But
wasn't
you-
born yet.
I remember Ross Perot. But you have a lot of left-leaning people who would tell you in 2000, if Ralph Nader had stayed home, then we would have had President Gore. Because a lot of people voted for Ralph Nader that would have voted for Al Gore. You know, so there is precedent for a third-party candidate throwing a monkey wrench into the plans of one or the other. Because Ross Perot, let me finish this point. I'll get you to jump in. Ross Perot actually stole votes from George Bush, which is how Bill Clinton was able to win.
Yeah, right.
Was it 92? Ross Perot was 92.
Ross Perot was 92.
Yeah, he wasn't 88. He was 92. Yeah, so he
Bill
took
and Bush.
Bush. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, brother.
Oh, no apologies to me. What I was going to say was for a long time, leading to 2016 election, I was very vocal on social media about not voting for Trump or Hillary Clinton because of those same things. Trump, he'll destroy the world, and my distrust for Hillary. I'm definitely, what else? What we got? And then when I learned of Jill Stein, Gary Johnson, and I'm starting to look at them, I was like, wait a minute, well, they're not fit to be president.
Right.
So I can't vote for them either.
Right.
So it's either I don't vote
Which that's not an
or
option.
vote for, well, it's an option.
I mean, it is an option, but
I'm
do
not
you really
obligated
want
to vote.
that? Do you really want to not?
No, you don't want to not
vote?
do it. You don't
but-
want to not vote.
The only reason I bring some up is because why don't I want to vote? Let's say that.
I understand where you're going. I understand where you're
I
going.
understand where you're going.
I
Because
understand
because people, you're forcing, and the argument that I've had with a lot of friends to this day was me not voting, in my opinion, is me making a statement. Last year we broke records on voter turnout. If you know my record, since I've turned 18 and been able to vote, I've voted in every state, every federal, every local, every city. For people on my school board, I voted in everything. But then this one year, I don't vote for the president. I don't vote for I think our gubernatorial is this month. I think we're voting for.
No, we don't.
Nope.
This year.
The mayor, not gubernatorial, but
The mayor?
we're voting. Yeah,
Okay.
The Richmond mayor, yeah.
right. The Richmond mayor,
City.
yeah. So me not voting for that, to me, is a statement of, all right, you see my record. You see I'm voting for all this for all these years, and now all of a sudden I'm not voting.
But wait a minute. So, if I were to interpret what you said in a way, you not voting seems to me that you are silent. And it would seem to the people looking at these polls of who won, your vote is in neither one. It's you're silent, and people who are silent in an argument or a cause, they are for sure not going to win. So
Not necessarily. In the argument that I've having.
No. Go ahead.
And the argument that I've been having, being silent, isn't necessarily a win for the other person. It'll be a win for the I don't know, the God complex or whoever's looking at all of it. If I vote for either one of the four candidates right now. Now, what I could do is go vote right in someone.
you could write in someone.
But then,
I've
to
known
me,
people who
to
do
everyone's looking at it, to everyone's perspective, well, that's just a no vote. To me, that's equivalent to anyone voting for Jill Stein or Gary Johnson because they're already counting them out and they're already considering them. If you don't vote for them, then you're voting for Trump. And in my opinion, I don't agree with that because if your conscience won't allow you to vote for somebody you can't trust, then stick to your heart.
Yeah.
Stick
I
to your
mean,
conscience.
you're-
Don't
that's
vote
the,
for them.
That's the point that I was trying to make a few minutes ago.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I
yeah.
definitely understand that. And earlier I said I didn't support Hillary Clinton.
You did.
But I'm voting for her because I'm choosing to put someone in who I think could win
But that's
if
the
I vote
essence.
for her. And I'm biting my own.
But that's the essence of, and I'm
A
not
lot
saying
of
this in a
us.
disparaging way, but that's the essence of choosing between the lesser of two evils.
Right.
And you have a lot of people who have an issue with that phrase.
Absolutely.
And they don't like that phrase. But I understand why one would do it. Ain't no half Steppin Marcus J live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio, 804-402-2893 is the number to dial if you want to be a part of tonight's discussion. A couple of comments from social media I want to get in. Our brother Hakeem is listening to us as he does each week. He's saying, he's referring to what I said because his comment went in a while ago. Sorry, Hakeem, I'm just getting into it now. I think it does make him smart. He's an asshole, but he's a smart asshole. Never underestimate the stupidity of your average man, which is very, very poignant. There were two points that I want to kind of add to that. One, Judge Judy always said that 1 out of 3 people is stupid. It's just stupid. They're an idiot. You know, if you're in a room and it's 3 people, one of you is an idiot. And she said it. She said it.
How many of us? 3 of us. Right? I don't know.
She said
Not
it.
me.
She said it.
I
She
know
said
it's
it.
4 of us.
She said it in a very, Judge Judy-esque, disparaging kind of way.
Right.
But the point that she was trying to make is, going to my next point, like Martin Luther King, there's 2 things that are terrible, but one you can live with. And the 2 worst things is sincere ignorance or conscientious stupidity. And I think a lot of people are sincerely ignorant. And those folks who are sincerely ignorant, you can work with them. But the people that are conscientiously stupid, I don't know that there's anything that you can do for them because they are purposely trying to not expand their mind. Other comments that we're getting, our brother Corey Marshall is checking us out.
Corey, what up, young brother?
Hey, Corey.
He's checking us out over there in Facebook Live. What's up, brother?
I'm
Thank you
Ghost
for
Corey.
checking
You
us
can't
out.
See me. I hate Facebook Live. I hate it.
Corey said.
Hi, Corey.
Corey says Hillary wins political business as usual besides being the first woman president. Trump wins the end of usual politics. Economics will be tipped drastically, but possibly even end the civilization as we know it. Melinda says the total matter of opinion about where we will go as a nation with either, because seriously, how the House and the Senate work with the president is what makes a large difference. This is why President Obama was unable to accomplish a lot of his goals.
Exactly.
But he
They-
did
they-
accomplish a lot.
He accomplished a
of them,
lot,
too.
but he was also, when you had elected politicians who said that their goal was to make him a
To not
one-term
have-
failed
He was blackballed.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah.
you get it?
But you think
But
about
he won 2 terms, so
Ding,
their
ding.
opinions.
Can you
are-
think about how America would be if we go from electing our first person of color to our first woman?
Okay, let me just ask this then to the Legacy Internet Radio family. Actually, I have 2 questions. Number one, if these emails of Hillary would have never come out, would we all be singing a different story? Would it be like Hillary, no questions?
No, not me.
I mean, I'm just saying,
I agree
is that
with you there.
okay?
Marcus.
The basic behind people not following Hillary is because they can't trust her.
Well,
correct?
I'm unmoved by the emails because
So if there was no emails, then what would it be?
there would be something. They would
I
probably
think
be
that-
focusing. I'm sorry. They would probably be focusing more on some of the legitimate things. They'd be talking about Benghazi again, which, I mean, me personally, I can break down some of the things that the right is throwing at her, like the emails. I'm not moved by the emails, because people send emails. And, Colin Powell doesn't want to talk about it because he knows that that's what they was doing. Him and Karl Rove and George Bush. Karl Rove deleted something like 500,000 emails. I mean, because he didn't want nobody to see them. So the whole email thing is just like, come on, y'all. There's so much stuff with her. Like, we can talk about Mensa, Arkansas, and what went on with regards to that. And you got a lot of people who believe that's conspiracy theory, but there's a paper trail there that you can see that a lot of the drugs that ended up in America on American streets came through Mensa, Arkansas. Who
There
was
are
the
press
governor?
Conferences. You can talk about what she actually said. She got ads talking about Donald Trump flip flopping, and what he said here, what he said. There's a million of things that Hillary Clinton has said on tape, on video, that showed that she flip flop on half the stuff that she says. Probably
Okay.
more than that.
Okay, so my second part question, the 2, if it's really not the emails, it's a whole bunch of other stuff. And basically, is this And like, can anything happen within the next 25 days? Like, are these the only two choices we have? Like,
Yes.
can the Senate and the House
No.
come back and was like, no, I need you to drop out. I
No.
need this person to jump in. Or like one of the Republicans, I was watching one of the politics shows, and one of the Republicans had named 4 additional people that they could think of who would be good. So and I think one of them was like Condoleezza Rice that he named, and 3 other, men or what have you. But so nothing like that could happen. Like within the next 25 days, they cannot be replaced. No way, shape, or form.
Tomorrow is the last day. It's either today or
register.
tomorrow. It's
No,
tomorrow.
it's definitely today.
It's today.
It was
It's
today.
today.
Yeah, you're
last
done.
day. To
Yeah.
register to
You
vote.
probably got to midnight.
And the names and the ballots, I think, were set like a week ago.
Okay, so that means regardless of, unless you don't vote because you're Gary Johnson or Jill Stein, will be a no vote. So unless you don't vote, you have to choose one or the other. Am I correct?
If
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
much, yeah.
That's it.
What-
I mean,
what
that's
I
all
wanna-
I
And
I'm
might I
done.
just add on, by the way, since we're speaking about voting, it's so important to vote. I mean, your vote does count. The first time I voted, I was in another country. I was abroad in Spain, and I made sure I sent in my vote through the mail. And mind you, I didn't really speak the language. I could never imagine it'd be so hard to find the post office, but it was. It was really difficult to find the post office. And that day when Obama won, so where I lived in Spain, I was the only minority, like with the skin color, for miles. Besides, there were Africans there, and all the Africans just so happy to know that someone that looked like them won. And something that appealed, I think that why, could I still keep talking? Something that, or a reason why I was so happy that he won, because Obama was all about unity and bringing the community together. And that's why I feel like Hillary for sure would continue this. I mean, I don't
agree.
think there's really a competition. And you had made a comment, Marcus, earlier about when she's being insulted by Donald.
Or anybody.
Or anyone. She just laughs, because I
Yeah.
honestly feel like in her mind and her soul, she feels like she doesn't have to step off her throne. She doesn't feel like she has to return the insult. And there's been a couple times, and maybe a lot of times, where she'll say something slick or very smart, but I mean, I feel like a lot of times it just goes over the person's head.
Yes.
I feel like a lot, like in the second debate, she said a couple of things, and it wasn't, I mean, Donald insulted her so many times on so many occasions, and there are many times where she just laughs because what's the point?
Right.
What's the point of her insulting Donald back? What is that going to prove?
I'll be honest with you, and this is going to sound real petty, but I think y'all will understand why I'm saying this. Hillary Clinton is one of those people that the reason a lot of folks don't like her is I just don't like her face. Not literally, you know what I mean? Not literally, but you know that figure of speech, man. I just don't like her face.
They
man.
sincerely don't
You
like
know
her.
what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just this, you know, it's just something about her.
Strong animosity.
It's just
Okay.
something about her. I don't like her. You know, it's just something about her. And, you know, I don't know how to put it. I mean, with me, I was someone that was like that with her. I'll be honest with you. I was like that with her until I started researching her and started seeing some of the stuff that she did. She's been ambitious and power hungry for a long time.
Sure.
Now, that's not something that's a negative. It's certainly not something that's a negative, but
Sure.
you know, there's an entitlement there as well that's difficult to rationalize. And I just, you know, I don't trust her. I wish that she would just answer certain questions. You know, like the whole thing with Benghazi could have been dealt with
Okay.
super easy if she'd have just came on TV and said what exactly happened. But we never got that. We never got that. And the reality is, if we lost 4 ambassadors in Benghazi, but we lost thousands and thousands and thousands of servicemen because of an unjust and unnecessary war, then why are we? And a loss of, anytime you have a loss of life, it's terrible. I'm not minimizing that.
Yeah.
But 4 people died versus thousands and thousands of people that died prior to that. We wouldn't even be in that part of the world if it hadn't been for the prior administration. So it's just difficult for me, the things that they come up with. So I don't know. It's a difficult thing, and I'll just kind of close it with this. You know, when the polls come in, we'll be talking much more about this. The election day is coming up in just a couple of weeks. But we'll be talking a lot more about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and the third and fourth and fifth party candidates. And we all have a decision to make. And just to speak real quick to Jair's point, I'll close with this when he talked about how a choice may be to not vote. And I think some of us remember in 2000 when the Electoral College said that George Bush won, but the people said that Al Gore won, and the people didn't get what they wanted. And the Electoral College, is something that many folks just simply don't understand how it works. But that's the reason why it's important to do like Jair said earlier, is to always make sure that you vote for who you need to vote, but you need to vote because when you vote in your local elections for your city council and your mayors and your governors and your dog catchers and all that kind of stuff, those are the people who become the Electoral College. And so if you do not vote for them, when you go and you vote for the big top ticket, it's not going to matter because the people that you did not vote for on the lower tickets aren't there to represent you the way you need to be represented. So it's very important. I understand the upset feelings and I understand the whole, well, I ain't going to vote no more. But, because of 2000, many folks in our typical general, 20 to 40 age range will remember that historically. But, yeah, your feelings was hurt. You didn't get the guy you wanted. And it absolutely changed the course of history. But that cannot discourage you from hitting the polls. And for me, I know when that day comes and I'm standing in there, I'm literally going to be sweating bullets because I really honestly don't know what I'm going to do when I get in there. And Steppin with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Jay?
Oh, I wanted to comment on something you just said.
Sure, go for it. Go for it.
Not what you just said, but some commenters have said that are on either hitting us up live or on the phones about Trump being smart. I don't think Trump is smart. I think he's immoral. I'll say that because I think other candidates recognize exactly what Trump is recognizing, and they could have taken advantage of it, but they chose not to because they're moral people. And I think Trump is just immoral. So I don't think it's smart for him to take advantage of other people. I don't think it's smart for the way he has done his business since the 70s, 60s or whatever. I don't know how long when he inherited whatever he got or when Trump Towers or whatever.
His daddy gave him $1 million.
Right.
His daddy gave him $1 million that his granddaddy had because he ran brothels. Let's set the. It's true. That's his biography. Right. That's true.
Right. But my point is, I don't think it's smart for the way he did business. I don't think it's smart for him to take out however many $100 million tax loss or profit loss to be able to escape paying federal taxes for so many years. I don't think that's smart. I just think that's immoral. Because there are a lot of other people who could have taken advantage of certain things, whether it's legal or whether it's social. There are a lot of things you could have taken advantage of that people chose a higher road because it's just not right.
Right.
So I wouldn't call him smart for exploiting those things. I call him immoral, personally. That's that. And then the one thing I do want to directly say is on this show earlier it was said, quote, let's say Trump gets elected, ... I want to say, let's say Trump does not get elected, just because I'm a powerful believer in words being spoken into existence. So I don't want everybody here to leave.
Okay, my bad. You're right. Hey.
I don't want everybody here to leave with let's say he gets elected. I want people to think,
no.
let's say he does not get elected.
Let's
say that out loud.
He will.
But that's just my opinion.
And can I just add on to what you were saying about him being a smart, whatever was the word that you used?
Immoral. He's immoral, not smart.
Yeah, immoral. I think that that word would also describe him as a leader as well. Like we were saying how Hitler was smart and
exactly.
Donald smart. I never liked that word. I never knew what word to use, but smart or incredible, I heard that word as well. He's an incredible leader, amazing. I don't think that would be a word I would use in that sentence with him. I mean, definitely not.
Right. No,
so immoral would definitely be the
right.
replacement.
Leader fits with Hitler, businessman fits with Trump. Sure. They meet the peak of their choices, but they're immoral.
Right.
Yeah,
there's
right is right and wrong is wrong.
There's definitely some immorality there. I was the one that said that I felt that he was smart, and I'm gonna stand by that because at the end of the day, for you to take $1 million and amass the fortune that he has, even if it's by nefarious means. There has to be a level of intellect and ruthlessness. And, you know, a good word will go with a bad word. That's why I say intellect and ruthlessness, manipulation and things of that sort. You can't get to where he's gotten to by being a dummy. There has to be some smartness there. And the real reality is he turned this, like I said earlier, into a reality TV show, which is where he came from. And he realized that American people were ripe for that kind of leadership. And I'm saying that in air quotes. And that has to be smart to do that, because you are paying attention to the climate of the country that you're looking to ascend to the highest office of. And you figured out strategically how you were going to do that. Everybody else had the same opportunity to strategically do what they did. This is what he's chosen, and he's become one of the most polarizing people in the world. And that's the last thing I'll say to Carl, and then I'll let you jump in. I won't say, you asked me not to say it, so I won't say, I won't say that. But let's say he loses. You know what Donald Trump has done? Donald Trump has created a network of people who will support him in any endeavor that he chooses to do for the rest of his life and business.
And
every
replace
single
him
every single city,
for the next candidacy.
every single city that he's gone to, he can go back to that city and create, you know, business opportunities and money for himself because he has riled those people up. That ain't no dummy.
Right.
We may not like him and we can't stand the things he's done and he said, but that ain't no dummy.
So I was watching a story of a young woman from Kuwait, I believe, and she came to this country a couple of months ago. I want to say 6 months ago. And she was a refugee. She fled her home because her husband was abusive. She is a Trump supporter, and her reasoning was because she felt that if there's a candidate in office that will allow immigrants to come in, then these immigrants would threaten her. These were her words. She said that they would threaten her, and that's the land that she left. And I was reading some of the comments. People, I actually only read two. So one of the comments.
Okay, one was enough.
It was like 57,000, one of those kind of views, or so I couldn't read all of them. But one of them, there was a woman also from the same country, I believe Kuwait, and she said, I was from Kuwait. I never experienced that. And her husband told her she couldn't go to school. Her degree would be worthless because she's a woman. And this woman, she says, my parents were strong believers. Like, I had no choice. I had to go to school. And the other comment is irrelevant, but just sticking with what I just said, speaking about, you're saying that Trump is smart. I mean, he's manipulative. That smart, I believe, is the wrong word. He's manipulative because he's speaking to women or people like her who are just scared. I mean, when I saw this video, you could hear in her voice, like, you don't know what I went through. I mean, literally leaving an abusive relationship. And we know the stories here about women or men, anyone leaving an abusive relationship. If someone's speaking to you that you believe that will make your life better, you want to jump on that bandwagon. And mind you, if she's leaving a country where she thinks she's been hurt, and she thinks like everyone is experiencing that, I mean, I think it's a little bit selfish. I hate to say it, but I think it's a little bit selfish for her to say, well, I'm here, I'm okay, but everyone else who's suffering, they could stay over there. But again, she's scared. And I would empathize with her, and I would empathize with people who may feel immigration, because I know that's a big point in this election, who are scared of this. I mean, I come from a family of immigrants, so I sort of don't understand, but I can't understand being scared of something. So that's how I would connect. Like, if I'm scared of something, I'm scared. You can't tell me otherwise. I'm scared of it. But Trump is not smart. He's speaking to people who are just vulnerable. He's speaking to people who have experienced, those bad encounters with any minority, whether you're black or Muslim or Indian. He's speaking to those people who have these limited media footage that are entwined.
Lack of resources.
The lack of resources to know what's really going on. Right. So to say he's smart, I don't know. I can't get.
I would say he's not the smartest person here. I wouldn't take away his level of intelligence or him being an intellectual. I just wouldn't say he's the smartest man in America. That's my only point. Like, obviously he's smart, but there are a lot of other smart people. He's just using that to exploit them. Is where I was going.
Okay.
But I hear you.
It's just speaking in hyperbole. Obviously he's not the smartest man in America, but. This will be one of those times where we agree to disagree, and I think it's a matter of semantics, really, simply because it's hard. It's hard to see this man and the things he's doing, and attach the word smart to that.
Yeah,
I got you.
I got you.
And so it's difficult. It's difficult, and I understand, and I understand, and I respect that. The reason why I said it, I've already kind of made plain, and we'll just have to leave it at an agree to disagree moment. Okay. Hakeem says, nah, he's not immoral. He never thought that he would get this far. No one has tried harder to throw an election, and people still stand behind him and justify what he does. Definitely some truth to that, in my opinion. But I think that, even he didn't anticipate seeing this tape from 2005 coming back, and apparently that's a big part of why a lot of the women who were going to kind of hold their nose and vote for him are probably not going to do it now, because depending on which poll you look at, he's definitely lost a whole lot of steam ever since that. And I said last week on the show that Billy Bush, who is a member of the Bush family, was the person who he was talking to in this video. And you got to know that everybody knew that this video was out there a long time ago. I would guess that it was probably out there during the time where it was a large field of Republican people up to and including Jeb Bush. Like, I have to believe, and we know that NBC had the tape because Access Hollywood. So that tape's been around, and people have known that this tape existed, and they have released it on the Friday before a big debate on Sunday so that it can get into the consciousness of everybody for 2 days before they actually go and debate. That was cold-blooded. That right there
Donald
was
Trump wasn't that important back then.
That was
in 2005. It would have been no point to leak it.
Right.
No. I'm saying that they have had it, but see, this is the thing. The American people is playing checkers. These people playing chess. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a completely different set of rules for people on a different level of prominence and consciousness. Like, they got stuff probably on everybody that's just sitting around waiting for them to decide that they want to do something, and
your
then they wait.
ex-girlfriend probably has some stuff.
Oh,
your ex-girlfriend,
yeah.
your ex-wife, who probably never, they probably got some stuff never seen a day
That's
in
how
life.
sex
But
tapes
as soon
come
as
out.
you
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
right, that's
Exactly.
what I'm saying.
Is that your booty cheek?
Yeah, exactly.
Get a little higher than what you are now, brother.
Yeah,
Go to the
no, I'm
Apollo.
not mad.
Go to the Apollo
I
if
invite
you
the
want
scrutiny.
to.
I've been the same. Ain't nothing about me changed. My wife knows everything. I love you, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
She knows everything.
Hi,
You can't
Michelle.
bring up a story or a picture or a video that she doesn't know about or that's inappropriate. Absolutely not.
I got you. Ain't no how Steppin with
need
Marcus
help, I
J.
know that.
Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio, Facebook Live. We appreciate you.